Welcome to yet another episode of Crime Watch, a program that is proudly brought to you by your police service, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, as a way of cementing police-public synergies in fighting crime. I feel honored to have you along. While the nation is fighting drug and substance abuse, others choose to do otherwise. Just recently, police apprehended a man for unlawful cultivation of 700 plants of dagga at a church stand in Wesley suburb in Harare. Assistant Commissioner Paul Nyati, the police spokesperson, was at the scene of crime when the detectives from CID Drugs and Narcotics descended at the stand.
The Zimbabwe Republic Police confirms the arrest of Lawrence Mtizwa, aged 54, a suspect who has been found in possession of nearly 700 plants of dagga, which had been planted at a church stand. We are told that this stand is owned by a local church, and he was a caretaker at the premises, where at the end of the day he was now planting this dagga, obviously supplying to members of the public. And we wanted to warn the public that the police will not stand by and allow communities and allow the youth and allow even adults to be affected by illicit drug activities. And we also want to applaud the local community, because the police received a tip from the local community that this suspect was planting dagga in the church field. We are also disturbed by the fact that he had the audacity to chase, even neighbors. Neighbors were not allowed access to the church premises. He was even issuing threats and even boasting that he was planting this dagga for command agriculture, something which is totally unheard of. The government does not condone illegal activities, and we will ensure that the law takes its course.
It should be clearly stated for the benefit of members of the public that dagga can only be legally cultivated upon issuance of a license permitting such farmers to do so. Moving on, following a spate of child abuse cases reported at various police stations around the country, the Zimbabwe Republic Police is calling upon members of the public to come forward and report any form of child abuse at any nearest police establishment. Lately, police is disturbed by the death of a 14-year-old girl who suffered complications after giving birth at Gwama village in Murambinda. The case is being investigated by Zetrapi Chivu. It is time sexual abuse of minors come to an end. Let us all participate to protect children from sexual abuse. Let us break the silence and report cases. Moving on, there is need for an all-stakeholder approach to help society against murder cases and suicidal tendencies. In Nyanga, police is seized with investigating circumstances surrounding heinous murder cases in which Edward Chirombe, aged 43, is suspected to have attacked to death his wife, Joyce Mashenu, aged 40, two daughters, aged 8 and 14, and a son, aged 12, before committing suicide at a homestead at Ngavasekwe Mugomba village, Nyanga, on an unknown date. The bodies of the victims were found by the police on the 6th of January 2023, after the police had received information that they were dead bodies lying in the hut and flat-roofed bedroom. The police broke the padlocks to gain entry into the hut and the bedroom, where the bodies of the victims were found with multiple deep cuts on their heads. The body of Joyce Mashenu was found lying on the bed covered with blood in the bedroom, while the bodies of the children were found lying on the floor and bed in the hut. The body of Edward Chirombe was found hanging from a tree in the garden, which is about 800 meters from the homestead. Investigations are in progress. In the same light, police is concerned with murder cases involving adults and juveniles. In Shurugwi, police is investigating a murder case involving minors who were playing with a toddler. Circumstances are that an elderly woman left her 1 year and 8 months older male grandchild under the custody of her other two grandchildren, aged 8 and 6 years respectively. The two older ones were swinging the little child from one end to the other, with one holding the legs and the other holding the hands. Suddenly they lost grip of the little boy, who then violently hit his head against a big stone. When the grandmother arrived at the scene of the incident, the victim had already died. In another case, ZRP Plumtree is also handling a disturbing case involving a 13-year-old girl who murdered a 4-year-old minor. Circumstances are that the accused was left in custody of the 4-year-old girl after two elderly people visited Dingimuzi Business Center in Plumtree. On their return, they could not locate the 4-year-old minor. The accused then lied that the minor had been taken by neighbors and were playing with her. The 4-year-old baby's body was later found dead in one of the rooms under a mattress. She also had a visible wound suspected to have been caused by a sharp object. The matter was reported at Plumtree Police and investigations are ongoing. Disturbing cases there involving the murder of two minors. It is a reminder to members of the public to always monitor children in order to prevent such sad tragedies from recurring. From those two sad stories, you join me in the second segment where we covered a story to do with the arrest of armed robbers by CID Homicide, Harare. Welcome to the second segment of Crime Watcher, and thank you for staying tuned. It is an unholy alliance that masqueraded from year 2021 to that, conniving to commit numerous violent robbery cases around the country. This is Eastleigh in Harare, where one of this infamous syndicate of robbers was apprehended. We also visited Marimba Shopping Center, where CID Homicide Harare also apprehended two of these notorious criminals following a shootout.
From November 2021 up to date, we have been receiving cases of armed robbery cases which were occurring around the country. And recently we then received information that the criminals were in the vicinity of Harare. In these robberies, these accused persons were using firearms and other dangerous weapons like machetes to intimidate their victims before robbing them. In the first instance, we received information that the accused persons had found a hideout in White House along Blawai Road. We dispatched a team to that place and we managed to arrest Norman Tendai Mnengwa, age 34, and Blessing Dandazi, age 39. These two accused persons assisted us in arresting the third accused person, who is Jelas Mafue, also known as Jedza, age 36 years, who was arrested in Eastleigh. When we apprehended him in Eastleigh, he was driving a white Toyota Mark X. So right now I'm standing next to this vehicle. It was being driven by one of the accused persons, Jelas Mafue, age 36, when we cornered him, and it was damaged during the exchange of gunfire. That's why you see it has got bullet holes all around it. The three that I've mentioned so far were arrested at the end of the year 2022 and are currently remanded in custody awaiting trial. Just recently, this year, we received more information on these criminals, which led us to Melfort along Harare-Marondera Road. At Melfort, there was a shootout with the criminals, but eventually we managed to arrest the following people. Zondai, previous Ngarandi, age 25, Courage Tapunda Dumba, age 35, and Shaona Kariwa, age 35. The three were arrested whilst hiding in a certain house in Melfort. After arresting the three in Melfort, they assisted us in arresting the other two near Marimba Shopping Center in Harare. The two are Robson Mandu, age 28, and Tulani Munez, age 42. On noticing the police, these two tried to flee whilst shooting at the police, but we finally managed to apprehend them. All in all, we arrested 8 accused persons who were involved in these robberies. So far, the arrested accused persons have managed to clear 14 armed robbery cases which occurred in Marondera, Mangura, Rusape, amongst other places.
Detective Inspector Love Mochifamba has some words for these criminals and also for members of the public.
I'd like to warn any like-minded criminals involved in criminal activities where they use firearms and other dangerous weapons that we are firmly on the ground and they will be dealt with and will certainly be arrested. And we would like to urge the general populace that should you be a victim of such offences, you should quickly make a report at the nearest police station so that your case is attended to whilst leads are still fresh.
Police will not allow criminals of this nature to walk scot-free. Notorious syndicates will be unearthed and culprits apprehended to face the full wrath of the law. This rainy season has seen some heavy and lengthy downpours which have resulted in flooded rivers, slippery roads as well as submerged bridges. The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe held a joint press conference with the ZRP and the Vehicle Examination Department VED on awareness during these times to prevent loss of lives and property.
We have heard, all of us, the warning that has been issued by the Met Department of possible flooding in some areas. We want on that score, from the road safety point of view, to appeal to drivers, whether it's public service vehicles or private vehicles, to take note of possible flooding where such instances may arise, and to desist from crossing flooded rivers, even if they are familiar with the route, with the bridges, to park where necessary. When it rains, visibility becomes very impaired, and that's why we encourage people to avoid driving under such circumstances. I also want to appeal even to drivers, particularly in urban areas, to desist from a system where once it starts drizzling, all of a sudden people start disregarding traffic lights. Not only does it cause congestion, but it also endangers other drivers and the traveling public. So we just want to appeal to drivers to take note of the current weather, a precautionary note that has been issued by the Met Department, and to respond accordingly.
From the period 15 December 2021 to 15 January 2022, a total of 1,914 road traffic accidents were recorded. And this year, from 15 December 2022 to 5th January 2023, a total of 1,998 road traffic accidents have been recorded, meaning to say accidents have increased. The number of fatal road traffic accidents which we have recorded in the year 2022 we had 81. Currently we have got 95. The number of people who have been killed, last year we had 102. Currently we have got 127. The number of people who have been injured, the previous period we had 478. Now it is 489. The number of people who are dying, the number of people who are getting injured, they are increasing. We have also realized that drivers are giving us a challenge. That's why we are calling upon drivers to self-introspect and reconsider the way some are driving on the country's roads. The bully and unruly driving conduct, which is currently being shown by some drivers, should stop in order to save lives on the roads. We need drivers to totally change their mindset. To be honest, the only way we can fight the current road carnage is if drivers are cooperating, is if drivers are adhering to road rules and regulations without any negotiation. Hit and run road traffic accidents are some of the challenges which we are facing. We had an accident along Borodale Road where a motorist hit a young lady aged 25 years, was trying to cross the road. She died on the spot. Sad. Then we also had another one which occurred along the Bulawayo Victoria Falls Road on the 25th of December, where pedestrians, about 7 pedestrians, were hit by a motorist. Then we had another one in Mashingo, Zakanyika Road, on the 31st of December, where 3 pedestrians were killed after a motorist, his vehicle went off the road. It shows that it's not about training. It's about the attitude of the drivers.
It's about the conduct of the drivers whilst they are on the steering wheel. We are calling upon drivers to assist us. We are calling upon drivers to play their part by being responsible on the roads.
Mostly we concentrate on the vehicle, but we know the vehicle cannot be on the road without the driver. So last year before holidays, we spoke about self-regulatory approach, where the driver should look at himself in the mirror and say, am I going to arrive alive? What do I need to arrive alive? You need the vehicle, yes, but yourself as a driver, are you fit enough to drive? These driving statistics show that mostly there are private vehicles that are involved in accidents. And it's worrisome to us that pedestrians are being hit by us as drivers. But the truth is, at one time we were all pedestrians. Even when we go to our cars, we are pedestrians. So as we go into 2023, VID is also saying, look after your cars and be the better version of a driver that you'd want the next person to be.
We do hope you take this educative information seriously. From that story, we are taking a short break. Join us in the third and final segment. We're now in the third and final segment of Crime Watcher, and thank you for staying tuned. In Bulawayo, Zetrapi Cowdrey Park apprehended Tempinkosi Prince Ndlovu, a serial burglar, for a spate of unlawful entry into premises and theft cases.
Members of the public gave us a tip-off. Acting on that tip-off, we managed to arrest one accused, Prince Tempinkosi Ndlovu, a 29-year-old man of Cowdrey Park area. Upon his arrest, the accused person led the police to the places where he had stolen the property and to where he had sold the property. We recovered various goods, which includes wardrobes, televisions, cell phones, gas tanks, and gas stoves. Through interviews, we managed to clear 11 cases. 9 of them are for unlawful entry and theft, and 2 of them are theft cases. The accused has since appeared in court and is awaiting trial. Members of the public have since been given back their properties.
The Zimbabwe Republic periodically urges, or rather encourages, members of the public to settle differences or domestic quarrels using professionals amicably. In a family gathering that turned tragic, a Mutoko man murdered his parents following a family misunderstanding.
Circumstances are that the suspect was seated with his parents, his father Clemens Makwatsine, aged 72 years, and his mother Elizabeth Kamoti, aged 65 years. The family had seated down over an issue of the accused marriage, which had some misunderstandings. After having solved this dispute, the suspect started to have some altercations with his elder sister. His father intervened holding a war handle, of which the suspect took the war handle and assaulted his father on the head several times, leaving him dead. His mother tried to intervene as well, and he also assaulted her with the war handle on the face several times, leaving her dead. However, police attended the scene and managed to arrest the accused person and was sent to court. As police, we are going to stand firm and bring all offenders of any crime to book. However, we appeal to members of the public that if they face some problems, they must approach the local leaders, that is the chief and the headman, also including the professional councillors within the area and the church elders.
Ndiri kunzwa kutya zvoti chiro ndikada kutaura nevamwe vakomana vari panapa ndinobva ndafunga kuti pamwe ndikatongopindura kana kuti chii ndobva ndakutofunga kuti pamwe unogona kana kutongorohwa ende kana ndikangonzwa munhu ari kufema kugotsi kwangu ndinofunga kuti pamwe ndakada kutorohwa kuti nezvinhu zvokuti ndakaona vabereki vangu vachifa ndakatarisa wakarohwa wakasvika kufa ndakatarisa handizi settled, hana yangu iri kurowa nekutya kwakanyanya, but ndakarwadziwa.
Very disturbing scenes there from Mutoko. From that sad story, we now move on to people who are on the police wanted list. 3 people are wanted by ZRP Chirundu. That is Musa Kalepa, age 22, of stand number 1403, Chirundu Newsstand in Chirundu, for rape. Tekmo Madade, age 49, of stand number 420, Chirundu, is also wanted for rape. ZRP Chirundu is also looking for Augustine Tafirenyika, age 48, of stand number 690, Senek Park, Ushokunze, Harare, in connection with a corruption case. Should you have information that may help in locating any of these wanted people, please feel free to visit or contact any nearest police establishment. Alternatively, you can link with us on any of the following details. Our national complaints desk number is 0242 703 631. Visit our website www.zrp.gov.zw. You can also email us on feedback@zrp.gov.zw. We have a Twitter handle at Police Zimbabwe or Facebook page Zimbabwe Republic Police. To those who may have missed any of our previous episodes, do not despair, as you can watch all Crime Watch episodes on our YouTube channel, Zimbabwe Republic Police. It really has been a pleasure having you along. Please do join us on our next episode of Crime Watch for a concerted effort in combating crime. Elliot Kuzai Ganyani is my name. From the Crime Watch crew behind the scenes, and I see you next time.